Hi, my name is Audrey Mayer. I played on the Cal women's tennis team from 2015 to 2018, so 3 years. I was actually a walk-on, so my journey to play tennis at UC Berkeley was a bit unusual. It wasn't the traditional trajectory that you would take after junior tennis. So I played in the Southern California section from when I was 8 years old to my senior year of high school. So junior tennis was a huge part of my childhood, and I played all the sectional and national tournaments. And when it came down to applying for colleges and everything, I really prioritized my academics as well as my tennis. So when I was looking at colleges, I applied to colleges academically, as well as talked to coaches for tennis recruiting as well. And so when it came down to it, I was accepted academically to Cal, UC Berkeley, and I was being recruited at other schools, but I decided at the end of the day, I want to go to Berkeley. I didn't want to sacrifice the educational experience that I would have gotten there, and so I ended up going there. So my freshman year, I didn't play on the team, but I played on the club team, so the Cal club tennis team, and we actually won the national championship on my club team. But that, wasn't enough for me. I wanted to try to walk on to the varsity intercollegiate team, and so I just chased the coaches down. I chased Amanda Augustus and Zach Warren. They're both amazing coaches, and it took a while for them to respond to me. I had to be pretty adamant at reaching out and staying in touch with them, and at the end of the day, they wanted someone with my work ethic and love for the game to be on the team, and so I was able to walk on my sophomore year. So that was my journey to Cal. So as far as the insight on recruiting and getting into UC Berkeley, as I said, my journey to the team was a bit unusual, but the typical recruiting process to play at Cal, they usually want you to have a pretty high ITA ranking and a pretty high USTA ranking to be even looked at, but they also really want someone who's going to mesh well with the team, so has a really good attitude, wants to work hard, values academics, especially if you want to do academics at Cal. So that is the typical recruiting process. As I said, mine was a little bit different, so I actually walked on the team. But as far as GPA and SAT scores, yeah, you have to have pretty high SAT or ACT to get into Cal. I had a pretty high GPA. That I actually got an academically. I think there's some different requirements if you get in with an athletic scholarship. So that's something that you can talk to the coaches about if you are being considered, or I think online Cal has just the average GPA and SAT that they have for admitted students. How did I reach out to the tennis coaches? Did they discover me first? So they definitely did not discover me first. I discovered them, emailed them a bunch of times, and was able to do a tryout my sophomore year. And actually my first tryout on the team, I actually didn't make the team, but I stayed adamant. I worked at the Cal summer tennis camps over that summer before my sophomore year, and proved to them that I really wanted to work hard. I was practicing before and after camp and just making friends with the girls on the team. And so I ended up getting on the team my second time at tryouts. And they don't typically do tryouts. It was kind of just a special thing because I was really adamant at chasing them and getting after them. So how would I describe the women's tennis competition level in the Pac-12? It's definitely some tough competition, let me tell you. We have some really, really good players in the Pac-12. The toughest school we played against, definitely Stanford. So if you are familiar with the Pac-12, Stanford and Cal have a pretty intense rivalry, and Stanford women's tennis is an amazing program as well, and they actually won the national title a few years while I was on the team, so they were definitely our toughest opponent, for sure. How do I stay encouraged after losing a match? So in tennis, you're gonna lose a lot. So at the end of the day, at the end of a tournament, there's only one player who is completely undefeated, and that's the champion of the tournament. So if you're already playing junior tennis, you know that there's a lot of losing in tennis, but you just have to shake it off. You learn more from your losses than you do from your wins, at least in my experience, and just always try to learn something after a match, whether you win or lose, and that'll just keep getting you better and better. And at the end of the day, tomorrow's going to be a new day. The next weekend's always going to be another tournament, another opportunity to prove yourself. So don't get too hard on yourself if you have a bad loss. There's always going to be another tournament, always another chance to play a match. Just stick with it. And I promise you, your results and everything will improve if you just stick with it. Tips and advice for junior players who are looking to play Division I tennis. So whatever point you are in your junior tennis career, it's a marathon, not a sprint. So not any one tournament, not any one match is going to define you. I would also encourage you to, have a life outside of tennis too, because that's just going to help you have a balanced life, balanced everything, and it'll keep you sticking with it. And work hard, obviously, and train, like, don't overtrain, but just train every day and just try to, like, if you're passionate about it, you're going to want to go out in there and practice. So definitely just work hard, try to have a life outside of tennis, and don't stress too much about the losses. Describe my signature win at UC Berkeley. So I think our biggest team wins were definitely when we won the ITA National Indoors. We beat University of North Carolina in the finals, UNC, and that was a huge win for our program. That was actually Cal Women's Tennis's first national championship ever for the program, so that was a huge win. I would also say my sophomore year, so my first year on the team, we also beat Florida, which was ranked number 1, 4-3, so that was a huge win. And then we also beat Stanford my first year on the team too, in a non-Pac-12 match. So that was a huge win for the team. As far as individual wins in college, I would say I didn't get very much of those. It was pretty tough competition, but I would say my very first time ever winning a singles match at Heinen was probably my most memorable, because I was still new to the team. Everything was really fresh and exciting. And I think I was playing a girl from Cal Poly, and all my teammates were watching me, and they stormed the court after I won, and I just felt so loved and a part of the team. So that was a great individual win for me. Yeah, and those are all the questions, and I really just want to encourage you to just stick with it. And tennis is a great game. You can play it for your entire life, and I just think tennis is the greatest, and it'll teach you a lot of life lessons. And playing Division I college tennis is just such a great experience, and I applaud you if you get to that level. It's really hard, and it's just amazing. So yeah, that's all I have, but thank you, and let me know if you have any questions.